Welcome back to another semiconductor episode here. Today we're going to take a closer look at three semiconductor companies and three products in specific. For Intel, we're going to take a closer look at Gaudi 2. For Nvidia, we're going to take a closer look at the H100. And for AMD, we are going to take a closer look at their fourth generation EPYC processor, Genoa. So there have been recent updates. There are some reports that Gaudi 2 is faster in certain scenarios than the H100. For the H100, Elon kind of shared some pretty cool information that I think investors should know about. And for the fourth EPYC generation Genoa, we are going to hear a little bit of kind of the market share update that the company and management recently shared. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. So the first one, we're going to take a closer look at Hugging Face. And Hugging Face is this huge kind of machine learning website where you kind of find a lot of models. All the models that are pretty much popular right now can be found in Hugging Face. So this is a great website where you can get a lot of resources for different machine learning models, for different types of AI solutions. And they always share a nice amount of blogs. Back in June 29th of 2023, so about almost 2 months ago, or over 2 months ago, the company shared a blog where they kind of showcased that Intel's Habana Gaudi 2 was faster than Nvidia's A100 in a certain workload. This certain workload was Bridge Tower, which is a state-of-the-art vision language model. And we saw about 2 months ago that Habana Gaudi 2 achieved roughly 2.5x speed up compared to an A100. Now they just recently updated this on August 29th of 2023, and now the new updated version shares that, hey, look, the Gaudi 2 is roughly 1.4x faster compared to the H100. And a lot of people might kind of look at this and kind of throw some bit of weakness to the H100, saying, hey, look, Gaudi 2 from Intel is doing great. So first, I want to say this is good props for Intel, right? It kind of showcases that they do have a nice solution for the accelerated market. And here we can see with Gaudi 2. They have kind of a nice lineup coming up. They have Gaudi next, and then they have Falcon Shores, I believe, is the one after Gaudi next. So they do have a nice pipeline, and they say it is growing over time, nowhere near the size of H100. But we can see right off the bat, there's a few things that investors should know. This is very kind of it's meant for one model, right? It's really focused on this one model, the Bridge Tower, which is the state-of-the-art vision language model. So it's a very niche market. The second thing is, I do believe here in the benchmark, they're only testing one of each, one A100, one H100, and one Gaudi 2. One of the biggest perks and kind of pros from Nvidia is their ability to interconnect thousands and thousands of GPUs. So obviously this is pretty cool if maybe you are kind of a small team and you only need maybe one A100, one H100, or one Gaudi 2, then obviously the best choice is to go with the Gaudi 2. But now if you're a huge enterprise that needs thousands and thousands and thousands of computational power and be able to connect thousands of GPUs, then obviously the H100 is the bigger winner here. So I wanted to bring that up. Again, big props to Intel. It does show that they do have some form of accelerator product, and it is doing pretty well. Again, it's mainly more of a niche market and probably meant for a smaller workloads to some extent, where you don't need to interconnect thousands and thousands of GPUs. Now, before we go any further, guys, I do want to say thank you for the support. We just hit 27.7 thousand subs. I'm trying to hit 30 by the end of the year. So if you haven't, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I do have a semiconductor membership where I do weekly exclusive semiconductor videos, either some deep dive on an earnings, some deep dive on the conference, or just deep dive on the company. Again, I enjoy the semiconductor. I have a master's degree in electrical engineer, worked at some amazing companies, now obviously doing YouTube. If you want a special offer for the Fool.com, check out Fool.com/Jose. If you want my free newsletter, one newsletter a week, check out JoseNajarro.substack.com. If you want a free website for semiconductor news, check out semiconductorwatch.com. And finally,
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out Fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
now the second one is a lot of information from Twitter. So if you have been following Twitter, a lot of people are talking about Tesla kind of opening up their new H100 supercluster, also turning on their super dojo. So I want to take a closer look at the H100 supercluster. And Elon Musk actually actually responded. So some people were talking that, hey, look, the H100 should be about 9 times faster than than their previous H100. Elon Musk says that, hey, look, normally the H100 might kind of give that results in certain applications, but for their application, the H100 is 3 times faster than the A100 in their test. So overall, they are seeing huge improvements, right? If they have roughly 10,000 Nvidia H100s, then in theory, that's about roughly 30,000 A100s. And I believe Tesla's current Super A100 cluster has about 16, 17,000 A100s. So this is going to be huge for the company. Kind of focusing here on this tweet, Elon Musk also mentions that, hey, look, training compute should soon not be so much of a limiting factor because of things like the H100 and because of the things like the Super Dojo, right? Elon Musk saying that, hey, Tesla is increasing their overall computational power dramatically, so that's not going to be an issue. But he does bring something important to case. He does mention that it's very difficult bringing the 10K H1 cluster online, by the way. And I would think so, right? You're connecting all these GPUs together. You have to make sure the system is working efficiently and as intended. And that's a lot and a lot of hardware, a lot of racks. They do mention they had similar experiences to bringing their 16K A100 cluster online. They do mention uptime and performance are low at first, and they improve with lots of work by Tesla and Nvidia. So pretty cool. Again, I just want to showcase how I think this is probably one of the first times we're hearing a lot about kind of the process of the H100 and the turnaround and kind of the speed test. So I wanted to share this information with you guys. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the density per racks, right? So, and this is kind of just showcasing the image of a supercomputer. I don't think there's much information in here for investors, but it is good to just visualize how these supercomputers look like. So here we can see this is, in theory, Tesla's A100 supercomputer right there. This is the one with like the 16,000 cluster of GPUs. And you can see there's numerous racks. There's probably hundreds and hundreds of racks. Each rack of server either has the following 3 nodes or 4 nodes. You can see 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4. Each node contains 8 A100. And in theory, this should be higher, but Elon mentions that because of their power consumption and the amount of computation they do, it's a lot higher than normal supercomputers. They can only do about 3 to 4 nodes per rack. Now they're saying that the H100 density is only 2 per rack, and I think that's insane with the amount of computation. They're going to have so many racks. I wonder what kind of infrastructure solution they have set up. But the H100, they can only have 2 nodes per rack. Remember that each node contains about 8 H100. So again, not much information here about what investors should know, but I do believe it's important to kind of visualize how these supercomputers work. This is the front with the nodes. This is the back with all kind of these cables connected between GPUs and everything else the system has in place. All right, so the final news I want to take a closer look at is AMD. AMD was recently at a Deutsche Bank technology conference event, and they shared a lot of information, but today I just want to talk about something special, and that is about their 4th generation EPYC Genoa update. And they do mention that in Q2, they actually see their Genoa family, which is EPYC Gen 4 family, almost double sequentially on the revenue side. And one of the reasons is, right, there's the ramp up process. This is a new platform, so it takes a while to kind of ramp up. So in Q2, they saw in Q2, they saw their revenue double sequentially as more people are adopting this new platform. And they also guided that Q3 data center revenue sequentially growing double digits, largely driven by their own product cycle. Again, kind of the growth in their kind of moving on from Gen 3 to Gen 4, which is a new platform. What they mention is here with their EPYC Gen 4, there's numerous things. Not only is Genoa, which is their vanilla CPU processor, is ramping up quickly, but they also have other ones coming up, like Bergamo is starting to ramp in the second half. They also have Genoa X, which is focused on technical workloads. And they also have Sienna, which is coming and which is focused in things like telecommunication and cost-sensitive segment. So when you look at the lineup they have, they definitely see the second half of their server business will continue to grow and continue to gain market share. And boom, that's the thing I wanted to talk about is AMD continues to grab market share in the overall server market, which is very important because this is definitely a high margin area. So I do believe this was on Thursday afternoon, and this is why the stock was up on Friday. The stock was up nearly 3.5% because the company mentioned that, hey, look, we are seeing some huge movements in our Genoa or fourth generation EPYC processor line, and we're also expected to gain market share in the upcoming quarter. So really good news for AMD. I do believe AMD is one of my favorites right now in forms of growth opportunities, in success rate, and also valuation at the moment. I kind of was talking about it. I did a few episodes where I really do like it at the $100 price point. We've been getting that around the past few days, so super excited for anyone who was able to enter. AMD is definitely one of my favorites, my number 2 position. Nvidia is my number 1 position. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very quick update on these 3 players, mainly focused on some recent news we did kind of just get in the past few days. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.